I was peaking too early. Your lack of buddies is a little concerning. You heard the rumors, now I'm here and confirming. I made a friend in my 30s.
Welcome, ladies, gents, friends, betwixt and beyond the gender binary. My name is Matt Johnson. I'm the Narcissist Cookbook, and with me today, as always, is
Bug from Bug Hunter. How's it going, everybody?
If you want to let us know how it's going, you can send us an email to hello@jammechanics.com. If you just want to let me know how it's going, you can send me a message to tnc@jammechanics.com or just bug@jammechanics.com. Let me explain to you how a jam is mechanicked. We're a couple of songwriters. We're going to get a surprise guest on today who's going to give us a songwriting prompt, 2 songwriting prompts actually. We need to agree on one. We're going to go away for 3 hours and then we're going to come back with a brand new song, written, demoed, to perform for each other and to be received with unconditional positive regard.
Yeah, I just checked the Jam Mechanics Constitution and all of that is correct. But before we do that, we got to get to know each other.
The hardest thing about having to do this is having to do it with someone that I don't know at all.
Yeah, it's kind of like this. We have this like awkward stranger tension where at a certain point, maybe we'll feel comfortable with each other. But in pursuit of that, we're going to ask each other some icebreaker questions provided by the Jam Mechanics listening audience. If we have a little Google form in our Discord, if you ever wanted to hear your question on the podcast, you can go and join that. In the meantime, we're going to start with a question here. And I don't know if we've ever talked about this before, but neither of us have any tattoos, which is, I think, pretty strange. I know, at least coming up in the Seattle music scene, everybody I knew had some form of tattoos, but neither of us do. If you had a tattoo, a line from one of your songs on your body, what line would it be and where would you put it? That is from Matt, in parentheses, not that one. So different Matt. Thanks, different Matt.
Oh. Gross. Like I don't know. I think about that. I think about getting a tattoo a lot, but now I've hit the point where I'm 37 years old and I'm like, if I get a tattoo now, I feel like I'm doing it as part of an early onset midlife crisis. You know, if I'd done it, also, as I explained to people, I am the worst possible mix of impulsive and have terrible taste. So I will get, if I get a tattoo, will get the worst piece of shit you've ever seen in your entire life and will love it for about 3.5 seconds. So yeah, I don't have a tattoo. That is my reasoning. If I was going to get a tattoo and it was one of my lyrics,
it can be one of mine if you don't want to feel so.
You know what? Right. Okay. You know what? I would probably get some variation on "This body's built on the ruins of all the people I've ever been." Like when I wrote that, I was like, I did it. I said the thing.
Yeah. No, that's good.
So if I hadn't put that in a song, I can imagine putting it on my body, I guess.
Yeah.
Now I can never. Jesus.
It'd be a lot.
That's like the equivalent of, and you know what? This used to be an uncool thing, and now it's a pretty cool thing, and I always get really happy when people do it. But wearing a band t-shirt to the band show.
Yeah. It's cool.
Yeah. It is cool. It's really cool. I'm like, you look fucking sick. But having one tattoo and have it be my own lyric is too much. Couldn't do it. What about you, Bug?
I think if I were to get a tattoo, it probably wouldn't be a lyric. It would probably be just the basic form, like the cartoon version of the Bug Hunter logo, the Catterbug, kind of like. Just like the silhouette.
The Catterbug is iconic. I love the Catterbug so much. Every time you draw the Catterbug on something, I'm like, man, I wish my logo wouldn't take 3 hours and a professional artist to do. Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
You meet an amateur magician.
Okay, God. So we're finally doing this one.
Yeah. This magician can do 3 tricks. They can make a coin disappear.
Okay.
They can pull a rabbit out of a hat.
Okay.
They can always guess your card. They can't learn any more tricks. But those 3 tricks are done by actual magic. No trickery involved. Is that person more or less impressive than Albert Einstein?
Yeah, so this question has been haunting our spreadsheet, and this is from...
Thank you, Benji D.
Thank you, Benji D.
So just to summarize for people who lost interest halfway through the question, you have a magician who can do 3 tricks, but the tricks are done by actual magic. Is an actual wizard... But a wizard who can only do 3. What's the D&D term for a cantrip?
Cantrip. Can I talk about that for a second? That word
Cantrip.
Yeah, it's done about 50% of the work of me not getting into Dungeons and Dragons.
Why?
I can't figure out what that word means, and if it has anything to do with the two words that make it up, cantrip. Right?
It's short for contripulation, which is...
Thank you. I
No, that's not true. Don't believe me.
No, I needed an explanation because it doesn't, like... It'll be like it's a cantrip. So like someone can trip it. Is that what it's from? And they're like, it's just like a spell that you can do, and you can do them as many times as you want. And someone, please in the comments, please explain to me what cantrip means.
I'm going to spoil the comments here because I'm going to tell you where it comes from.
Okay,
and it relates
please.
back to a conversation I was having yesterday.
I need it.
Where, so cantrip, no one knows where it comes from. It's Scottish slang, which just means magic trick.
Okay, but you just made up the last thing you said.
No, this is true. This is true. And like, this is related to yesterday. I saw some bunnies and I was like, how did we go from rabbit to bunny? Like, where did that come from? And I looked it up and the internet just went, it's Scottish slang. Like bun was like a pet name for like a rabbit. So
Gotcha.
It really turns out that if you're not sure where something comes from, just imagine that some Scottish person was like, fucking cantrip.
Okay.
Bun. Anyway, let's move on.
I don't know. So actual magic is probably more impressive than Albert Einstein famously contributed a pretty baller equation he only had to use a couple of letters. It takes most physicists and mathematicians, like they have to use a lot of letters to make their equations. Albert did it in 3. And 1 number. So that's pretty good. I think that's the low score. But you walk up to somebody at a party and you pull a full rabbit out of a hat.
It really is about who gets the exposure. You know, Albert Einstein is the most smart person that you've ever heard of, but he's a little fucking Nepo baby, you know?
Is Albert Einstein a Nepo baby?
Yeah, Nepo baby. His dad owned Warner music label. You know, and so his dad invested $300,000 to buy a share in a music label and then moved to Nashville. I'm making another Taylor Swift reference.
Oh, good. Speaking of magic, we're about to pull two jams out of our hats.
But in order to do so, we need
an assistant. Every magician has to have someone that they saw in half. Speaking of people we're about to saw in half.
What is that I hear? A knock at the Jam Cabin door? So insistent.
It's open.
It's literally, the door is neither locked or closed over. Come in, Joshua David MG.
Thank you for having me. Yeah. Great to be here in the Jam Cabin.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much. Joshua David MG or Joshua David, spoken word poet, has this amazing conversational, confessional style, can be found on Instagram, can be found on TikTok, and also a musician. I was listening to your album, I'll Eat You Up, I Love You So, under the name Joshua Tree National Failure.
My experience, just so people know, because like me and Matt were like, oh, yeah, we're going to find people to like come onto the podcast, and we were playing, I believe, in Sacramento. And you came up to me and you were just like, hey, I want to meet you. I'm going to be on your podcast. And I was like, oh, amazing. Sounds great. Yeah, sounds great.
I've been enlisting people.
I was like, is Matt just walking around the audience right now? Podcast? But then
after that happened, I was like, oh my gosh, that was so awkward.
No, I loved it. It made me laugh. I love things like that. And then of course, like I talked to Matt and I was like, hey, somebody said they're going to be on our podcast, and he filled me in on kind of what was going on. And I was like, oh, perfect. And I checked out your Instagram, cool. And I was like, oh, this is amazing stuff. That's so cool. So Joshua, are you cool to do a little icebreaker question with us before we get started?
Of course, yeah.
Alrighty. What video game and or board game have you played for the longest? Are you a gamer at all?
Yeah, I'm a bit of a gamer. I guess the game that I've played the most that I can think about is recently me and my roommate have been playing Mario Kart 8 Deluxe on the Switch.
Yeah.
And we just recently got 3 stars on every single cup on there.
I refuse to play Mario Kart single player, or just like I refuse to play it in like a way where I'm trying to gain stars on cups, because that will swallow my life. That will swallow my entire life and soul. We also don't want to keep you forever, because it is, at that end of the Jam Cabin, it's like 5:30 in the morning. Do you have a couple of prompts for us to argue over?
Oh, I've got a couple of prompts.
Amazing. So yeah, I'll preface this real quick with, this is the format of season 2 of Jam Mechanics. Joshua is going to give us 2 prompts. This is not Matt chooses one, I choose the other. We are going to debate and argue and fist fight over which one prompt we want to do. We have Joshua bring two just so that we can kind of get a little wiggle room, make sure that we have a prompt that inspires something in us before we head off for 3 hours and write a song. So having said that, Joshua David, what's that prompt one for us?
So yeah, the first prompt, I would say right now it is decidedly summer. It's
I agree.
Consistently like 105 degrees over here right now. So I don't know if you're familiar with this kind of video. I feel like it was more on TikTok than Instagram, but there would be these independent musicians who had this specific style of promoting their music where they just like sit in their car and be like, did I just write the song of the summer? And then they play the song. And it's like, it's the song of the summer.
Yeah.
So I want you guys to write me the song of the summer.
Write the song of the summer.
I want a song that you can afterwards just go into your car and be like, did I just write the song of the summer?
I've rigged my car up so I need to say that in order to start the ignition. So that's
It's the breathalyzer.
There is a catch. It has to be either about or set during a historical tragedy. So we're talking like the Black Plague, the burning of Rome, the eruption of Mount Vesuvius, something like that.
Yeah.
But it can't be depressing, right? It's gonna pump me up. This is the song of the summer.
yeah, okay. A song of the summer about or set during a historical tragedy.
I'm gonna set mine during the first 2024 U.S. presidential debate.
There we go.
All right, hit us with the deuce.
All right, so my second prompt for you, my second challenge, this is kind of related to my most popular spoken word video that I've got. I took a pickup line and I kind of shook it up, and it was like this cheesy, corny, gross pickup line, and I kind of twisted it around, turned it on its head, and made it kind of this wholesome thing. So what I'd like you to do is to take some kind of cheesy, corny, gross pickup line and turn it into like a legitimate love song.
Did I just write the cheesy pickup line of the summer? So we got song of the summer, set in a historical tragedy, can't be depressing, or take a cheesy pickup line and make it better.
I was pretty much ready to be like, right. So to deconstruct these, song of the summer is vague enough that I feel like I could kind of do anything with it, but set during a national historical tragedy is just a really good prompt in and of its own. So it would just be like, okay, historical tragedy, but make it upbeat, make it the song of the summer, or take a pickup line and turn it into a love song. I definitely could do something with that as well. Shit. Buck, where's your head at? Do you want me to take the reins on this one? Because I'm usually like, whatever, man, I'm easy. I don't have any ideas.
Yeah. I feel like I probably have a oversized influence on the prompt we pick, probably more often than not, because you're so easygoing. And so, yeah, I think I'm just gonna sit back and let you just decide, and then I'll in that way I will be challenged.
Okay. Well, for my personal one, I find love songs hard to write. My love songs are always they're always about death, or they're not really love songs if you listen to them for longer than 3 seconds. And I don't want to write one. So we're gonna do number one, write the song of the summer, but it's about or set during a national tragedy, not during the historical tragedy.
Can't be depressing.
You know what? I don't know anything about history. I'm gonna read some Wikipedia articles for this one.
Yeah. Amazing. Oh yeah, and also I forgot. Also, Joshua, this is a question that we ask everybody on our podcast. What's your jam? What's a song or artist that you've been listening to recently that you just kind of want to give a shout out to, so we can put them in our Friends of Jam Mechanics playlist on Spotify?
Which definitely exists.
It does exist.
Yet?
I made it.
It exists.
I made
now.
it.
Oh wow!
Yeah, I did it.
Yeah, I mean, one of my all-time favorite artists, probably my all-time favorite artist, I would say, is this small little band from Michigan. They disbanded in like 2013. I think they've got like 300 monthly listeners. It's Lightning Love.
Lightning Love.
And they're my favorite band. They've been my favorite band since college.
Yeah, so amazing. Thank you so much for joining us. Is there anything you would like to plug? Because you got books, you got your spoken word stuff, you got your music stuff. Have you got any live shows coming up or anything?
Right, yeah. So obviously, mostly I'm most active on TikTok and Instagram. You can find me on TikTok at Joshua Tree National Park, or on Instagram at Joshua_Tree National Park. I've got a couple books out. You can find everything else that I do in the links in my bios on Instagram and TikTok. So
I thought I was cool for having a band and a podcast, but you're out there doing everything. That's awesome.
Yeah. So everybody at home, get in your cars, look yourself in the rearview mirror, and scream with me. Did I just write the song of the summer? Not like that. Wait. Did I just write the song of the summer?
I made a friend in my 30s.
And we are back from the break. Matt, how was your jam mechanics?
I felt truly like I had forgotten how to write a song today.
I think we were both a bit on the struggle bus today. I also had a hard time with this one.
Yeah, I spent a fair amount of time trying to write a track about the Trojan War. I ended up making a song which is about that without mentioning Troy at all. So I get,
cool.
It's one of those, you must have had that where you write a verse and you build an entire song around the verse, and then you're like, the original verse is the missing link, so you just take that out. Yeah, so that was one of those for me.
Cool. So I have a song here in front of me called Comparing Yourself to a and then the name cuts off.
It's comparing yourself to a silhouette. Also, I did realize after I mixed it down that there was one bit of the song that I forgot to do. So I'm gonna have to do a little voiceover when we get to that bit of the song.
Oh, so you're gonna do it live?
I'll do it live.
Okay,
It'll be fine.
Amazing, perfect. I'm gonna love this. I can't wait for this. Awesome. So yeah, a partially recorded, partially live rendition of "Comparing Yourself to a Silhouette" by the Narcissist Cookbook. We are gonna hit go in 3, 2, 1, go.
Amelia, Amelia, please come back to Earth sometime. Amelia was born on a Saturday night in the heat of July in the heart of America. And while the city slept, her mother showed her the sky, and speckles of starlight settled on her eyes. And little Amelia Earhart knew that one day she would fly. No, that's not what happened. Can someone tell me why we obsessively mythologize real people, real lives like this? Like no one truly exists unless they live between the lines of a fairy story someone writes? Is it not enough for someone just to have lived, you know? And to have lived extraordinarily? Oh, Amelia, Amelia, please come back to Earth sometime. I'm dangling here by a wire, and it doesn't feel like flying.
Guitar solo. Play a little guitar solo.
Do you think Jesus understood that it wasn't enough to be a good man, to be wise and patient and kind? Do you think he knew that in order for his message to outlive him, he would have to be canonized? And to be canonized, he'd have to die before his time. Or was that narrative thrust upon him against his will by a disciple who loved the message more than the man, who knew that humans don't trust humans, we trust gods, and so this all-too-human friend of his would have to, whether he wanted or not, become a god or be forgotten. Amelia, Amelia, please come back to Earth sometime. I'm dangling here by a wire, and it doesn't feel like flying. And here I am, trying to be the best version of me that I can, comparing myself to these silhouettes who, in the way they're presented at least, did not exist. Thinking that because I don't have a narrative, because you couldn't project my story on the screen, that somehow makes me less real. And you know, the thing is, I don't think I'm accepting that. I think I'm trying to turn myself into a story, to see myself as I see them, as only a silhouette. Amelia, Amelia, please come back to Earth sometime. 'Cause I'm dangling here by a wire. please come back to earth sometime. I'm dangling here by a wire, and it doesn't feel like flying.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Cool song, Matt.
Thank you very much.
No, I like that a lot. Just purely from a conceptual standpoint, good. Took a good one. When you take an idea so specific that I'm like, Matt nabbed one. I can't do that. That's how I feel right now. That was good. I like that a lot.
I think the metaphors, like I think as you say, the thesis is okay. The metaphors are a bit mixed because to go from Amelia Earhart to Jesus with no connective
Loved
tissue.
it. No, that was one of my favorite parts about it.
Okay,
Genuinely.
I think Amelia Earhart is sort of in that like semi-mythologized state, but to a degree, the one who was mythologizing her was me at the beginning there. So
starting it out with that kind of very cliche. Yeah, like why does everybody great have to have known that they were going to be great and do the great thing from an early age? It always just feels like, every origin story has to be like, Freddie Mercury saw a man singing when he was 4 years old, and he knew from that moment on that was going to be, it's like, as somebody who for 22 years of my life, which a lot of our audience are below that age, right? They are still younger than I was when I was like, I might go get a guitar off of Craigslist. Never sang, never wrote songs, thought that my life was going in a very certain direction. And then I was like, I'm going to get a guitar. And then 10 years later, like I have fulfilled a dream that I never had. It's kind of cool to have that kind of sentiment in this song where like, I feel seen by this song. Where I'm like, I got like this very incredible story that I've been able to do these like remarkable things, and it was not something that I, was born to do.
Amelia Earhart hated airplanes.
She hated it.
No, that sounds like a joke. It's not a joke. The first time, because her dad liked airplanes and like showed her an airplane when she was like 10, and she was like, this is bullshit. I'm gonna go and play in the swings. And it wasn't until she was a bit older and she went to an air show and some fucking pilot dive bombed her that she was like, I don't want to do that. But it's not like she was like super into flying from an early age. I don't know. Some people are just normal people who go, I'm gonna do this thing.
Let's talk about some lyrics here. I love to go diving into lyrics. You mentioned that you thought it was kind of a leap to jump from Amelia Earhart into Jesus, and I got it right away.
Well, originally the bridge, the second verse was going to be Troy, so it was going to be the Trojan War. I can read you out the verse I had. That'll be interesting to see people. This is what I cut out. At the walls of Troy, the Greeks did gather to reclaim the wife of King Menelaus. Troy, it turns out, did exist in some form, but what of that massacre has survived in historical record? Basically none. The siege, they say, lasted 10 long years, but we all know it probably didn't. Helen's face, they say, was so beautiful it launched 1,000 ships, but it probably wasn't that beautiful, and it probably wasn't 1,000. Even in the stories told by the victorious Greeks, the war was won by slaughtering every man, woman, and Trojan child in their sleep, and this is the heroic version of events. Maybe we prefer our historical figures to be two-dimensional, because then we don't really need to think about anything. So I wrote that, and then I built the whole song around it, and I'm like, that's the weak link, and I want to make it personal, and if I'm going to have 3 verses, then the third verse should probably be the personal one. One of these is going to have to go, and it was Trojan War.
Cool that we got a deleted scene on the podcast. I don't think we've ever done that before. I love that. The only criticism about this song that I would give you is that I think you didn't end it at the best part. I think
which was what?
At the monologue about to see myself as I see them as only a silhouette, which, by the way, I gave you a little like thumbs up when you kind of got to that part about the silhouette. It goes back to the naming of the song plus your just insane ability to just pick the word that is just so perfect for the thing that you're talking about. Using the word silhouette in regards to putting these figures up on a pedestal is so good. It's like your like Spider-Man power that you have, but it's just, yeah. Great song, Matt. I love that. That was super good.
Thank you. I say I'm not sure how I'm going to feel about it until the end of the season when it has had some time to sink in. Maybe other people's reactions to it will soften it to me. You know, it's always weird when I'm not too taken with a song and other people are like, this is great. Or when I'm really taken with a song and other people are like, this is a song. So I don't know how I feel about it, but I'm happy that I pushed through the I don't like this, I don't want to make it, and ended up with something that I'm pretty pleased with.
Yeah, if this result was you saying I never would have finished this otherwise, then thank God for Jam Mechanics, because I really like this a lot. I think when I listened to it the first time, I was like, I would love to hear this live. I feel I could see you. I could picture you on stage performing this, and then I also pictured myself in the audience having a good time. So that's got to mean something.
But Bug, I want to hear your song. I want to hear what you wrote.
Yeah, absolutely. So I already kind of talked about my Vesuvius side trip. You know what? When Joshua said, there was a lot of words. There was so many words in that prompt. There was words like Song of the Summer, but then there was something about historical something or another. I forgot a lot of the words in the prompt, and that's okay. No, this song is called, very importantly, this song is called Loud and Clear.
Okay.
My production on it is pretty single take guitar, and then I overdubbed a couple of things on top of it. But for the most part, this is all just one take of me playing it, because again, kind of like last week, I just felt like, you know what, the vibes of this just feel better when I'm just sitting and playing it on my guitar. So,
all right, let's do it. In 3, in 2, in 1, go.
You're playing DJ on our road trip and my ears are going numb. It's taking every bit of patience not to mute it with my thumb. Maybe pretend that it malfunctioned and I'll fix it when we stop. But then you say, this one's my favorite, and you crank the volume knob. Why do you like this stuff? I haven't got a clue. What made a middle-class big city girl like only country tunes? You don't square dance in your Daisy Dukes or line up in your boots, and you ain't ever seen the inside of a country town saloon. And I tried to give it all a chance, I promise you I did, but I can't tell when one song ends and when the next hit song begins 20 minutes in. Let's just call it what it is. Every hit song of the summer sounds a little bit like this. A big bar crowd sing along, a 4-chord kind of country song where the chorus always mentions beer, and the title hits loud and clear. It's always so repetitive, they've got nothing to say. Every aspect is generic, every lyric feels cliche. I respect the men and women and the instruments they play, but the hacks that they are backing have put all their skills to waste. Cause the stars are all so similar, so handsome could it be? Another well-connected white boy up and moved to Tennessee. Has a network out in Nashville, plays a chord or 2 or 3 at a 4th and ride a horse, and you can end up on TV singing a big bar crowd sing along. Yeehaw! A 4-chord kind of country song where the chorus always mentions beer, and the title hits loud and clear. Did you ever think I don't care for the lyrics or the themes? And I'm wise enough to see that it's all blatant pandering, but I love to listen to it, yeah, even on repeat. These are all the songs my dad put on the stereo for me. And I have endless loving memories as far back as I go, from the car seat to the front seat, turning on the radio, blaring Toby Keith or Urban, other names I barely know. But when I hear these songs it feels like I'm still that little girl. And maybe when it came to this, he was a simple man, didn't listen for the lyrics, didn't care for indie bands. So attack me for my music choice, I know it's pretty bad, but I love these simple songs cause they remind me of my dad. just let me sing along. 'Cause he comes through in these country songs. In the car it's almost like he's here. I can hear him. I can hear him loud and clear.
God damn it. Look at that. You're so pleased with yourself. You're so pleased with yourself. Look at that little smile. Yeah, I didn't know where you were taking that. Yeah, that's fantastic. That's such a good way to bring that back around. Such a good way to bring that back around. Yeah, I was actually literally having a conversation with someone about this the other day, about soaking up your parents' music tastes. Great chorus. The title hits loud and clear. I'm sorry for the yeehaw. It just sort of came out.
No, I want to put that in the track.
Yeah, this is so tightly done. This is so tightly done. This is like classic Bug. This is you at like, this is when I say this is you at the top of your game. I am not saying that this song is finished. I'm not saying it's the best song you've ever written, but the fact that this is like, you just have such a good baseline in terms of like, you know how to write, you know how to structure, you know how to tell a story in a way that I don't think I have ever heard anyone else able to do. And this is such a fantastic little Bug Hunter song. What so fantastic.
Thank you. Yeah, I thought, you know, the big point I wanted to make is hyper criticism of media and art forms that some people find to be lesser than other media and art forms, and looking down on segments of audience that enjoy these things, and not thinking that there could be a broader context for why why things might be special to people. And kind of, you know, you know, obviously this is a conversation between two people. The character that feels like me at the beginning is making a lot of points that are about to get blown up in their face really, really hard by the end of the song. Yeah. It's one of those things when you release songs where, like, you know, like the point is a certain thing, but up until the point is made, it might seem like I'm trying to say a certain thing. You know, my hope is that nobody would take the first 2 minutes of this song and take it out of context and be like, oh yeah, get him, Bug, get country music. You really razzed them there.
You know that there are good, because I was listening to it and I'm like, wow, you are not holding back here on country music. I love that this song is basically like, why are you listening to this dad rock? My daddy's dead. You know, like, that's
yeah, I could have made it a lot shorter if I just said that.
No, I love that. And actually, I heard something recently, which was, you know, it's so tempting to be all high and mighty and be like, man, some elements of society are just super dumb. And no, I think it's just people pick and choose what they bring their critical thinking skills to. You can't bring your critical thinking skills to everything, because you'd go insane.
Music literally exists as a different function for different people. I'm well aware, obviously, like when fans of Bug Hunter are like, oh, I love this band, I love them with my whole heart, this is my favorite band in the entire world, but nobody in my life listens to this band, and even when I show them, they bounce off of it really quick. The thing that I am doing with my music is specific, and it's only for specific people who get out of music the thing that I'm putting into my music. There are people who just, music to them doesn't need to have lyrics. It doesn't matter what it's saying, because they will never process the lyrics, and that is not it's not a lesser form of listening to music. It is just a different form of listening to music.
I live in the land where Oasis are still regarded as one of the greatest bands of all time, and not just that 90s band who had a couple of songs. And like, when you listen to, like, Noel Gallagher, who writes the lyrics for Oasis, has gone on record as being like, lyrics don't matter. I don't care. I'm going to write things that fit the meter and that rhyme, and I do not care what I'm saying. Can I just say that if this was on an album, if this song was on an album, the funniest possible way you could follow this would be with Dynamite. With that, like that slide guitar.
And I hear him. Dynamite. My dad sounded like Dynamite.
I think if we weren't making this podcast and you sent me this song, just being like, I think this is going to be on the next album, I'd be like, we are in for a treat. We are in for a treat of a Bug Hunter album.
Well, thank you so much.
As long as you get me in the studio and we're on the last album, I was just like, on this album, I can just be like, yeah!
For people who don't know, Matt makes one cameo on Happiness Without a Catch, credited as a feral scream during a shocking plot twist. For the next album, it's going to be Feral Yeehaw.
Yeah, perfect. Well, we're right at the end. Thank you so much for joining us in the Jam Cabin.
Thank you so much for listening to Jam Mechanics. If you are in our live listen along right now, we're in the YouTube chat talking about our episode. If you want to be part of this next time, all you have to do is just join our Discord. The link is in the description, and we when we go live on the new episode, we all listen to it together live. There's normally a couple dozen people there, and it's very fun. So if you want to come join that, do that. If you want to get in touch with us in an asynchronous way, we have emails. We love getting emails. I probably get an email every other day from somebody, and it's always makes me so happy. You can reach both of us at the same time with hello@jammechanics.com, or me at bug@jammechanics.com, or Matt at tnc@jammechanics.com. If you want to catch us on tour, we're getting dangerously close to the rest of our US tour. At this point, we should have also announced our UK and Europe dates for October. So I'll be excited to see everybody on that side of the ocean. But yeah, we should be starting up again in about 2 weeks in Washington, D.C. So if you are on anywhere between Missouri and the East Coast, look up dates on www.bughunterbug.com. Anywhere in that box, you are guaranteed. We're probably within a couple hours of where you live. Come see us live. It's not a Jam Mechanics tour. It's just Bug Hunter and the Narcissist Cookbook. But sometimes we play Jam Mechanics things at shows.
Yeah, cool. Every show so far has been absolutely killer. Also, can I just say to future Matt, who's in the listen along comments, hi, how's it going? Oh, really? It's going pretty good? Wow. I never thought you'd say something so brave and yet offensive.
All right, I'm gonna play us out. I gotta, hold on. When you make up words, you confuse me with that shit. Like Scottish slang calling magic a cantrip.
Yeah!
They always told me I was speaking too early. Your lack of buddies is a little concerning. You heard the rumors, now I'm hearing confirming. I made a friend in my 30s.